Warning. Haymakers and Hellhounds may contain one or more of the following: strong language, suggested scenes of graphic violence, and topics of a sensitive nature. The opinions expressed here do not necessarily reflect the network's views. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello everyone, welcome back. Haymakers and Hellhounds. I am Thomas Duder, author of The Things. We are gathered here today to do some work. So in this season, we've covered the setting, the genre, of course the syllabus, the thing about where we're just going over in general. Engineers and gardeners, what we did last episode, and this episode, number 4 of death, is bloodlines and families. Now, for the most part, we were this is something that some people may go, well, this is all about characters. No. For me, it's about the world building. Who are the people? What are the people? But above all, what are the ones that you really want to focus on? You know what I mean? Do you want to focus on a nobody, know-nothing family like the farmer boy that we talked about right in the very first episode? Remember, we were talking about the various characters that I just threw out there for this thing, the Devil King thing. I want to call it the King's Gambit. The King's Gambit, that's an idea. No, that's cheesy as fuck. We'll figure something out. We'll figure a title out. In fact, if you guys haven't suggested it already, why don't you suggest some titles? Let's see what we can come up with together. When it comes down to this, though, so do you want a know-nothing family like that farmer boy? The farmer's bloodline, that the peasants, the farmer, the hero's bloodline is literally zilch. It came out of nowhere. It was from a small farming community. Shout outs to the Wheel of Time. He doesn't. The only thing that's really important about him was that quirk of whatever spatial energy, whatever interdimensional fuckery that begat him, that begat his connection to the Devil King when they were both born at the same time. That is what's actually important here, and that's what will establish his bloodline later on. But that's if we even do ever a sequel series or a sequel book or whatever in the future. Think oh my god, Thomas Covenant the Unbeliever in that sense. When it comes to bloodlines and families, Thomas Covenant the Unbeliever is a great example, the example. The other one being the Krondor series. The Rift War saga, which is great. Rift War, Serpent War, all the Dark War, all that shit follows very specific families and their activities, in this interdimensional bullshittery. I love it. That nigga and Zelazny, oh, that's another good example. The Amber Chronicles. Zelazny's Amber Chronicles. Michael Moorcock, not so much. He's more multidimensional bullshittery, and I still haven't forgiven him for the 3-in-1 bullshit he pulled. It was stupid! Stupid! I'm not going to go into that any further. Suffice it to say, there are great examples and great authors, great books out there that follow whole bloodlines of families and people that are involved. I talked about Anne McCaffrey in one of these episodes. Yo! The Rowan? However the fuck you say that. The Rowan was great, yo! And that followed a specific family of telepaths from like one generation down the line, and it was fucking superb. Lord knows there are other examples, other great examples out there too. But let's break it down to this particular thing that we're making here in this series. Bloodlines matter for the royals. Bloodlines matter for the elites. Bloodlines don't really matter a lot to many others. And that's why you will see many people talk about the blood or, families of the blood. So that's those people right there. The bloodlines and families that are the most important to this saga, though, are the ones, for instance, the elf manservant. The Devil King, you can even say, comes from an important bloodline. Because, once again, we have that balancing factor between prime material plane, the physical world, and the negative world. Yeah, that right there. You have a hero with absolutely nothing to his bloodline but centuries of farm labor, manual labor, farm work, and, quaint bumpkin town. And then you got they don't even have a main street. It's just a collection of niggas that hang around, around the mayor's office and the inn. They have like a mayor's office and an inn, and that's pretty much it. There's a main marketplace where the farmers come to trade goods with the city folk, merchants and such. So these are the kind of people that actually have like old school Mayday pole dances and shit. Just saying. So the Devil King, on the other hand, comes from an actual esteemed bloodline. He is the 1337th Devil King. Why? Because I said so. And because 13, 7, and 666 just too I don't know. Oh, but 1337's okay? Yeah, elite, my nigga. Do that shit. So he is the 1337th Devil King in an unbroken cycle of Devil Kings who rise, beget one child, and die. And then the child will eventually rise, beget one child, and die, you know? Except this Devil King is the one that said, I just don't want to do it. And even more so, because of the specific situation of birth between him and the hero, he can do it. He just walks away. Because the hero is there. Literally, you can swap one for the other is what I'm saying. Yeah, I like that. You can swap one for the other, and it will still remain in balance. Of course, destroying the throne, which we determined in the last episode, that might prove some problems later on down the line. That's going to be fun to fuck with, right? At least I think so. Fuck you if you don't think so. So when it comes down to it, the bloodlines that we want to really focus on are the Devil Kings, maybe the history thereof, and how they interact with the various kings of the normal world, you know what I mean? And even then, one thing we got to point out, now we've determined that there are multiple bloodlines, multiple areas, and each area can be controlled by a different type, a different race, a different type of people. For the most part, there is we consider the Beastkin, but why don't we make them nomadic gypsy types? Not even gypsy types, just nomads. Nomadic warriors, mercenaries, martial artists, that kind of shit. Monks. This is what they do, these Beastkin. We mentioned the elves. Now, I don't want to make them too elfin. Like, one of my things that I'm doing with Samuel Z. Jones, actually, not the Accurate Empire, but the Broken Ward Saga, I actually present the House of Belvedere, which are Tolkien-esque elves and creatures that flock around a tree, and they can't leave the tree, and it's very kind of subverted and perverted in how it's presented. So that's fun as shit. There's the but for this particular tale that we're creating here through the world building option, world building. Why don't we make it so that they live in sky castles? Yeah, sky castles. Didn't I say he was wind anyway? No, I think I said he was water. Whatever, they're wind now. Why might change this later on? So, they have floating castles. They're renowned for magic, but even more so spell swords. There you go. So, yeah, you got spell sword elves, and that's why they're so fucking powerful. And that's why when they have at least one ambassador to maintain, not control, but connection with the human population. Now, that landmass is mostly controlled by the humans. Like the standard human tropes, they outbreed everyone else. They are always fucking around technology, so they usually have higher levels of tech than the other places, but they don't handle magitech as good. See what I mean? So with that stated, why don't we throw in a little bit of steampunk? Steampunk! So throw in some steampunk, but not too major. Just they have, they don't have mecha, but they have mechanized warriors, steampunk warriors. Not golems, because they can do some golems, but like the wizards can do golems and shit. But the standard that they live off of is steampunk. Why not? Let's do some steam on this motherfucker. So, no, Gaben, no! So, let's consider, if you will, that this particular bloodline of the king has various contracts with the devils and such. And there's one creature in particular that he contacted that this current king has. Now, this current king, of course, is, let's place him older than the Devil King and the hero. This king will be in his 50s, but still a really powerful warrior. Very powerful warrior. Like, dual-wielding claymores and shit. You know, he's a noteworthy pilot. He's excellent in everything he does, but that's because at an early age, his father made a contract with a particular interdimensional being. And this being is what has taken over the king since the age of, 13. So, it wants the negative plane. It wants the physical plane. It wants everything, because that's what it does. If this seems like Mumu Tiamat from the Trinity High series that I talked about in the last one, some of you are like, well, that sounds like just about every interdimensional creature. Well, yeah, I mean, Mumu Tiamat in Trinity High wanted to devour all of the world, just transform it into energy and devour it. And same thing here. This particular character, whose name, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter at this point. This particular entity takes over the king's body, but unbeknownst to anybody, the Holy Sword can't say shit because it's bound by the laws of causality.